Hey Dr. Bourne, how are you? I heard you're having some trouble deciding what movie to put on your syllabus for next semester's class, religion and religious themes in films. So I thought I'd help you out. One of my personal favorite movies, National Treasure, and I think it really has some great examples that you could use for the students in next semester's class. First off, I don't know if you've seen it because I know you have three younger boys, but I might be dating myself. It's actually one of my childhood favorite films. Even though Nicolas Cage is in it, it's still an oldie but goodie. So let me just give you a quick summary about it. It's a movie about a man named Ben Gates who comes from a family of treasure seekers who is actively trying to find a treasure that was supposedly left behind by our founding fathers. You know, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington. The first clue that his grandfather passed down to him is the secret lies with Charlotte. The Charlotte, a ship that sank in the middle of the Arctic Circle, holds the first clue to finding the treasure. When he discovers the first clue, a pipe made of ivory, half his crew turns greedy and they exchange fire. It's kind of a crazy scene. The greedy crew members, led by Ian, end up competing with Ben to try to find the treasure. Eventually, Ben and his sidekick make it to Washington, D.C., where they enlist the help of a National Archives employee to help them find the next clues while still racing against Ian and his cronies. After stealing the Declaration of Independence to solve the next clue, Ben realizes he needs to enlist the help of his father, a former treasure hunter, to solve the clues. In the end, Ben and his sidekicks wind up tricking Ian and his posse and find the treasure beneath an ancient street below Trinity Church. The Declaration of Independence is later returned to the National Archives, and Ben gets to keep some of the money from the treasure he discovered. Honestly, I know it sounds a little weird, it's a Nicolas Cage movie, but it really is probably the best movie that he ever made. In Chapter 4 of Livingston's book on religion, he talks about religious symbols and how they serve to bridge together important aspects of religious life. And he talks about how religious symbols bring together the sacred and the ordinary, they bring together and sustain a sense of community, and then how they bring together a variety of events and meanings to the religion. Throughout the movie, you can definitely see the use of the eye and the pyramid as a symbol to show how the Freemasons are definitely a center of the film, and how they gave these clues for Ben and his family and all Americans really to figure out the national treasure. In the beginning, Ben's father gives him a $1 bill and says, "They're always watching us, the Freemasons, the founding fathers, they're trying to tell us where this treasure is." And then you can see through the film how the eye of the pyramid is shown. Additionally, in the end, you can see how the eye of the pyramid comes back, because when he finds the treasure, he pushes the eye of the pyramid in once he puts the meerschaum pipe into the wall under the church on Parkinson Avenue, and he eventually gets to the treasure by pushing on the eye of the pyramid. So you can definitely see how this symbol is tied all together throughout the film, just as Livingston said. In Chapter 2 of Livingston's book, he talks about the ways in which you can study religion, whether it's from an anthropological standpoint or a sociological standpoint. I definitely can see how the ways in which religion is studied is very apparent in this movie, especially because Benjamin Gates, although he's not a Freemason, he is going after treasure that they have hidden in the different, temples and different places that they used to go. And so Livingston talks about, from an anthropological standpoint, it's very important that the culture is studied and that people know contextual clues about the different religious life in order to understand the people and where they went, what they did, how their temples were run, what kind of moral code they upheld. And I think that Ben Gates definitely did his research, especially when he knew that the Charlotte was a ship that was sunk in the middle of the Arctic Ocean, and they had to go find it. He knew that culturally that was part of the Freemasons, is that secret was still upheld, that the secret lies with Charlotte. Additionally, from a sociological standpoint, Livingston talks about how you need to study the behaviors of the people who are within the religion in order to understand the religion itself, because while you can know what moral code the religion is upholding with the Freemasons, you really need to know, did the people follow it? Were they very strict with it? And clearly, it is a very secret society. It was a very secret society, and they were all about knowledge and gaining knowledge and things like that. So Ben had to know this in order to figure out some of these clues. And if he wasn't in the mindset of what Freemasons were thinking, and if he didn't have all this cultural and contextual clues, he wouldn't know how this religion worked if he didn't take into account exactly what they would have been thinking, exactly what their rituals were. And so I definitely think that Livingston has an argument in saying that you can't just study religion in one way, you have to look at these multifaceted aspects of it. Well, that's all I really have time for today, so I look forward to seeing National Treasure on your syllabus for your class next semester. Please let me know how it goes. I know that people probably have already seen it, but I think people would really like to know how Livingston's argument really fits well with this film, and I definitely recommend it. If your kids haven't seen it, please tell them they need to watch National Treasure, and maybe they can do a little bit of homework for you too. Have a good one, Dr. Bourne.